Hello my lovely prince and princesses. So today I'm here with another story time for you guys. So I recently put up a video asking you guys which story you wanted to hear more, and by a landslide of number of comments, everyone wanted to hear the crazy princess company story. So to fit the theme, I have an Elsa wig on, and let's get started with this very long story. So with every storytime video, there's a few points I need to make before I start the actual story. One of them being is that all the actual names in this are going to be taken out. So almost everybody in the story is going to be going by princess names. Super fitting, right? And I'm not also going to mention the company name that I worked for here in Michigan, because I know how the, not pack mentality, but I guess like horde internet mentality is that when someone says something that someone did something wrong, people will run to that person or that page or whatever they have and just throw hate at them. And that is not the point of this video. This video is to tell you my experiences, give you some entertainment, and just to generally, you know, another story about another crazy person in this world. So this entire story happens within a year and a half. The beginning and end of these stories is going to be in chronological order, but the middle of all the different parties and events that I talk about are going to be a little out of order because I did so many parties and so many events, I can't remember what came before what. So first, let's talk about my previous boss, the owner of the last company. I really want to just kind of get a few things said and done and over with before I start the story, just to kind of trim some of the fat off this story, so you would say. So the owner, for this we are going to call her Belle, because that was her favorite Disney princess. She is almost 30 years old and still living with her parents. At one point she also quit her day job to focus on the company because she was tired of the way that she was being treated at this car place that she worked. Lo and behold, we come to find out that she was actually fired from the place. Similar to the Sora and leader in the Kingdom Hearts Live group from my previous storytime video, she did not think that she ever did anything wrong. She only cared about her ideas, and she really only focused on herself. Whenever she would bring up anybody else into a situation or a party or ask for ideas, she would take people's ideas, add a little bit of her own idea, twist it, you know, kind of mingle with it, if you kind of get my gist of what I'm trying to say, and then change it into her own idea and kind of pretty much take credit for it. She also had major trust issues. She'd rather have everything on her plate and stress out and freak out instead of handing off little jobs and duties to other people. Now that has changed now that I don't work for her anymore, but when I was with her, all she did was tell me multiple times, as well as a friend of mine who was in the company, who I made friends with, who was really gung-ho about helping her with the company. She talked about how she wanted to let us have some control over the Facebook page, and how she wanted us to help her book parties and events and advertising and a whole list of things, and it never happened. None of that ever happened, even though she told us multiple times she was going to let us do that. It took me 3 months of asking her before she put me as one of the admins on the Facebook page, because she kept telling me she was going to do it and then she never did it, and she would never post anything on the page, and our website was just not existent. It was not a thing. So we were running strictly through Facebook, and you cannot do that when you're not making posts. So nobody's seeing you, nobody's seeing what your characters are, your costumes, and not seeing that you're a real company if you're not making any posts. There was one week that we got 4 messages about 4 different parties and character inquiries, if I'm saying that word right, 4 events, all of them different times in the future, one even being that weekend. And I kept staring at those messages every single day. She never answered them. It took her a week to log onto Facebook and to look at those messages and finally reply. She has no concept of what an actual quality costume is. She thinks anything that's quality is too expensive. So there was multiple costumes of ours that were from Party City and crappy Halloween costume websites, and even our Anna. For a majority of my time working there, our Anna costume was a child's official Disney store costume, where the top half was literally up to here on anybody, and then the skirt. It was bad. She also did not know how to take care of costumes. Apparently, a washing machine and washing costumes was just not a thing in her life. I don't understand how her clothes were ever clean, because all of the costumes smelled like BO, and some of them had pit stains, and the few times that I actually got to make her anything and help with the costumes, because I offered it a lot and she always denied, she destroyed them. She threw wigs on wig heads in a giant box, expecting them not to get messed up at all. She liked to lie a lot about a lot of different things that made no sense to lie about, but she did anyway. She also promised one of our workers, one of our Tiana performers, that she was going to get paid. Now, and it wasn't just paid in general. She promised that everything that she was going to go to she was going to get paid for. But she never advertised all of our characters, so Tiana was never booked for a party. On top of Tiana not being a very popular character in general, which is sad because she's wonderful, she just didn't advertise that we had her. So she never got booked for a party. So all the charity events that we did with Tiana, she lied to her and said she was going to get paid. Never paid her, because we didn't get paid for those. It was charity. A local mall near me, before the Disney store was gone, it had a Disney store and it was doing a Halloween event, and I went there in my only Disney costume I had, which was Periwinkle, the Frost Fairy from Tinkerbell, and I went there to kind of surprise kids. And somebody tapped me on the shoulder and actually asked me, "Oh my gosh, are you here with the other princesses?" And I was really confused, and they explained that there were other Disney characters here, and I got really excited. Now, this mall allows costumes and like pretty much anything you want to do as long as you don't have weapons, face paint, anything like that. So I eventually found them. They were in the kids' corner of the mall where all the kids related things were. And oh my gosh, I was super excited. I didn't know that it was a company until I talked to the Belle. The Belle gave me a business card and told me that she would love for me to work with her. So she gave me her business card, and I was super ecstatic because I didn't think I could make money off of, being a Disney princess, Disney fairy. So a few days after that, I took out her business card and I sent her an email. I waited a week and no email reply. So I sent her another one. Still no reply. I called her and left her a voicemail. Still no call back. So then I called her again. Got the voicemail again, didn't leave one, but then I finally got a call back. So I think that was about a month of trying to contact her. And if you really want a job, kind of got to go after it. So that was my incentive, is that I really wanted to work for her. I just figured she was really busy, so I just kept trying to contact her. Finally, she told me, "Oh yeah, we're going through some changes in the company and I would love to do an audition. I'll let you know as soon as auditions are open again." And I'd say maybe 3-4 months went by. Finally, I found another person who worked for the company and added her on Facebook. And I asked her, "Hey, I still really want to work for the company. Is there any way we can set up a thing to do an audition?" And she said she wanted a video audition sent to her. And I thought that was kind of weird because it's a princess company that I think things should really be upfront and personal, meeting in person. Eventually, I found Belle again on Facebook, and I messaged her and she said, "Oh no, don't message the other girl. She quit and she has her own company now. And I thought that was really weird, and I was kind of taken off by it. And even though a lot of stuff happened with this company, I'm still glad I went with Belle's company and not the other girl. I stuck with Belle's because I thought that, you know, she was established longer than the other one. Later on, we found out that the other girl and her were having issues, and she went behind her back, took a bunch of girls and characters and people, and also took a bunch of the costumes and said, hey, I'm out of here. I don't want to work with you anymore. I'm going to go start my own. Bye. So I thought that was horrible. She told us a lot of other stories and constantly badmouthed this company and this person all the time. And now I don't know what to believe because of how much that she lied and everything. So now I really don't have any opinion on that girl and her company because I don't know what the real story was other than the fact that they had issues and separated. I went to auditions. She called me that night, told me I made it. After a little while of that, we had a meeting to gather everybody who was hired, anybody who was free that day, to meet each other, learn the rules, learn some basic training and different stuff like that. Now, I can't remember if this was the same day or another meeting, but we did eventually try on costumes. So, trying on all the costumes, everything was way too big. But it wasn't just me. Almost everybody had issues fitting into the costumes because Belle bought everything in her size. Mind you, Belle is a curvy woman. We're going to say she's very curvy. And she had almost all the costumes in her size, so nothing fit almost anybody. The Rapunzel costume was a one-piece dress that was super thin, and it was so big that the neckline came down to here. Mind you, a suitable neckline for me is here. It came down to here. Most of the wigs were also a disaster. There was only a few that were kept nice. Only a few. Okay, so let's go into a bunch of different events that happened. The first party I ever did was at an ice rink for a little boy and his brother, which was really sweet. But I was not put in costume. I was an attendant for an Elsa and an Anna. I was super angry because for some reason she thought it was okay, automatically assumed that my Elsa costume that I put together to fit my body was going to fit other people. So instead of investing in a second Elsa, she relied on me and my costume to fit a bunch of other wide variety of busty and thin girls for parties for quite a long time. The first party I ever did was the first time she asked me to do it. I was too afraid to say no because I wanted to help the company. But I really should have said no because that costume does not fit me anymore. The top is completely stretched out and I spent hours making it sparkly and adding things to it, and I never even got an official photo shoot in that costume either. So I basically have to throw it away now and start from scratch if I ever want to actually cosplay Elsa again. So after a little while, she kind of stopped contacting me for events as much. And I think it was because there was a lull in people booking during that time of year. But with no parties, that means I have no money. And I wasn't even making a lot of money princessing anyway because I'd only princess maybe once or twice a month. And it's not like I'm making tons of money from doing this. So I went and got a part-time job. Oh dear Lord. The second that I got a part-time job, it was like I fell off the face of the earth to her. She would go through spans, like sequences of favoriting different people. And I didn't realize it until later because she would always book me and talk to me about upcoming things, and then out of nowhere, she dropped me like a bag of rocks. Did not care. Even after I told her multiple times, hey Belle, I have the ability to take days off for parties. All you have to do is tell me 2 weeks in advance. She still didn't do it. she had a problem with telling people weeks in advance about events. She will literally contact you the night before an event and say, hey, are you free? And that's not even just a backup. That's not because somebody canceled. That's her main way of contacting people, is a few days before an event, hey, who's free to do this event? Finally, after a while, she called me one day and said, hey, Danielle, I have 2 parties coming up in the next month. I would love for you to be Anna. And I said, yes, tell me the dates, I'll write them down. First party ended up getting canceled because somebody in that child's family passed away and they had to cancel the party. It was really sad and I felt really bad for the family. Literally a week and a half later was the second event. Now the Monday before that event, I messaged her saying, hey, I know the last party was canceled. I just want to know, is this party still happening? No reply. Next day. Hey, I need to know if that party's still happening. Are we still doing it? Am I still being Anna? No reply. I texted her at least 3 times. No reply. Sent another Facebook message. Still no reply. The night before the event, I just assumed it was canceled. That's what I was just assuming. So I'm sitting on the computer doing nothing, and all of a sudden I get a message from her saying, hey, are you free tomorrow to do an event? I was super angry, but I said, yes, I'm free. She says, okay, great. You're going to be an attendant as so-and-so and so-and-so are going to be in Elsa and Anna, and you're going to help me be an attendant. And I said, okay, well, I was supposed to be an Anna. Why did it suddenly change? And she said, no, these people are being Elsa and Anna. You're being an attendant. And I was completely confused why it was changed so last minute. I think she literally called me, made me write down those things, and then completely forgot that she even booked me for that second party. I think she just doesn't fucking write anything down. So I went to the event, super angry, but I made the most of it as an attendant can do. I helped the princesses as much as I could, and I took some pictures of them, like, on my phone. After the event, I was in the car. We were all in the car, and we were driving back to where we originally met, where my car was parked. I was trying to get a single word in, and this woman does not shut up. She was getting way out of hand. I don't even remember what she was talking about. I just know she was super happy with how the party went, how smooth it was, even though later she complained that the person who was Anna wasn't up to par with our standards, so she was literally lying to her face right there in the car that she did a great job, and then went behind her back and said that she did a horrible job and that she shouldn't be in character later, which she stopped putting her in character, didn't even try to train her. In the car, I'm trying to get a single word in to say, hey Belle, are these photos okay for me to post on the Facebook page? She wouldn't let me say a single thing. So I turned to the Anna that's sitting next to me and I said, you know what, I'm just going to post these. She's probably going to okay them anyway. They're fine. Like, nothing's out of place. I'm just going to post them with some cute status. And I did. I posted it and it was cute. And this woman went on even more and I still couldn't tell her that I made a post to the Facebook page. So finally, I get home later that night and I get a message saying, hey, make sure that you okay all photos with me before posting them on the Facebook page because I want them to be up to par with our brand. Maybe if you would shut up for 2 seconds, your employee could talk to you. It blew my mind. And all the photos were fine. And guess what? She deleted all the photos in the little set except for one. The grainiest photo. The photo that didn't have the princesses' faces even in it. It's them kneeling on the floor handing kids candy or some shit that was going on in the party. It didn't even show the people's faces. I'm about 25-30 minutes away from Detroit and from some bad areas, but I live in an okay area. She told us we'd never go there, which was another lie. One day she messaged me and said, hey, something came up and I cannot be an attendant for this event tomorrow. Can you do it? I was free, I didn't have work, and it was money. So I said, sure, I'll be an attendant. And she gave me the address, and before I could even say, wow, that's kind of in a bad area, she literally spammed me, trying to reassure me it was a good area, and that the mother of the event said that it was a good area, and that it was being held in this, like, party type of room place thing. I don't even remember what she tried to tell me. She didn't tell me the next part, but she told the other person who was being Elsa for the event that the mother was going to go to a news channel and say that our company was racist because it wouldn't go down to Detroit, and that's why she had to say yes to the party. And I find that utter bullshit. I'm also pretty sure that she realized it was a bad event and canceled her attendance last minute to force somebody else in her company to go down there, so she wouldn't have to worry about if anybody got hurt. No. The street that this party is on, all the houses have kicked open doors because they are abandoned, windows broken, graffiti everywhere. When we were leaving the party, there was also an ambulance at the end of the street, or a fire truck, one of the two was at the end of the street when we were leaving. We finally pull up to the thing, and we're sitting there like, holy shit, we don't want to be here. We don't want to do this. We don't feel safe. We're a bunch of girls in princess costumes. We go in, we do the event, the mom's kind of pushy and like expected us to give her daughter a present, but we didn't have one for her, so we had to like find something in our party box to just give her. And then when we were finally leaving the event with a little sigh of relief, trying to run out the doorway, some old gentleman in a chair talked about how Olaf and how he would really like Elsa to suck his carrot. I'm sure some of you are laughing. I'll give you a second. But while it is funny to look back on, it was downright terrifying because we were in a bad area and this guy is making sexual innuendo jokes. So, on the way home, we explained to her how horrible the fucking situation and area and party and the old man was, and our boss just apologizes and promises us that she'll never send us to a bad area again, and basically gives us hush money. So she increased our pay, all of us, about $35. She promised that she would never send us to a bad area again. Another event that I had to deal with was her never wanting to give us gas money, because she started to send us really far away and not pay us gas money. I ended up needing to be Anna for an event because a dad or father of whoever this little kid was specifically picking out who they wanted to be in their character. So I was picked as Anna, and I almost had to say no because I said, hey, I can't drive that far if you're not going to give me gas money. It took her 2 hours to respond and finally said, yeah, I'll give you gas money. That was my printer, ignore that, and it gave me a heart attack. We all had to meet up in a location and change in a Denny's bathroom before going to the event, and it was very chaotic. The event was over an hour away, and the event went fine overall, but she just kept sending us farther and farther away than our actual area that we're supposed to be located in without trying to pay us gas money. That same event, it was actually at a church, and outside the church there was some really nice forest area, and I said, hey Belle, I'll get some pretty pictures with the camera that I have of our new Anna costume, because at that point we finally got a really nice Anna costume, the winter one. So we go outside, we take some nice photos, I get home late that night, I'm editing the photos and I send them to her. She loves them so much, for all of 10 minutes. The second that she makes it the cover photo on our Facebook page, she sends me a message saying, oh, well, it looks like I have to take down the photos. And I said, why? There's nothing wrong with them. They look really cute. I know why. It's because when we sent her a picture before the event, as we were about to go inside the church for the party, She was mad that the Elsa wig was on wrong. The wig that we had for Elsa had a middle part, and it looked horrible. It looked like almost an 80s male rock star with a braid attached to the end of it. So we tilted it to the side, kind of like I have now, for a side bang effect, and this stayed on the shoulder a lot easier. Her lovely, lovely story that she made up because she was mad that the Elsa wig was on wrong was that a mother contacted her and complained that the Elsa wasn't pretty. Not in those exact words, but she basically said that she didn't think the girl in Elsa was pretty. And that the Anna was cute, but the Elsa didn't look right. And that her hair was showing. When there wasn't really anything showing in the photo, I edited it white really lightly as best as I could, but it doesn't change the fact the photo looked fine. And so did the other ones I sent her. These are the people that we have working for us. These are our costumes. You don't like them, don't book us. That is 100% customer's choice. They can complain all they want about how they don't like a costume, but if they don't want to book us, that's their problem. So I told her that, and she says, no, I got more than one message, and she copy and pasted it. But everything else that she would like show people, it would be screen caps. So, you know, she typed it out herself, and it was a big fat lie, and I sat there super pissed. I looked at the time to see what time in the morning it was that her and I were having this conversation. It was almost 2 a.m. No mother is going to be up at 2 a.m. on Facebook to send a rude message to a princess company. And if they do, they have no life. But it was very clear that it was her and not some random mother. Everyone should have a fair chance to be in character. And that was a major thing that pissed me off, because she knew that Rapunzel was my favorite. And every time there was a Rapunzel party or a Rapunzel event, she never asked me to be in it. Ever. And that was the same with other people. Now, typecasting is a thing, especially in performing situations like this, but I knew other people in the company that wanted to be other princesses and never had a chance to because she wouldn't let them. She literally would make them in a different costume. She'd be like, you're being in this costume and you're being in this costume. It's like, do you ever give anybody a chance to be who they want to? Like, I feel like that's really rude. Going through her phases of people and being her favorite, the second that I got a job, I fell off the face of the earth, like I said previously. And once I started to realize that she was lying to me and would tell her that there's a lot of things that need improvement and give my ideas more and more in more of a, not so much a suggesting manner, but more of a, hey, you should get on top of your shit type of manner, because our stuff was terrible and I was doing what I could to help her make it better, but she wouldn't, like, take any advice. She just kept buying shitty costumes that would fall apart, or buying wigs that were $200 that looked like garbage. There was one costume that I was able to make, and that was Coronation Anna. And that wig was demolished because nobody knew how to put a wig on and would tear at different parts of the wig. And on top of that, she wouldn't tell them how to put a wig on. And she would take the wig. At one point, there was a party that we went to, and she said the entire costume was in this bag. She gave me a garbage bag. I pull everything out. The skirt is completely wrinkled and looks disgusting. And the wig was thrown into a garbage bag on a wig head, and it looked god-awful and was falling apart. She would get caught up in the moment after parties and events and tell people how great they were. And her mom would do this too. How amazing they were, how great they were. Oh my god, you know exactly what you're doing. You're so perfect. You look great as that character. But then later, she would complain that someone didn't look great in that character or didn't act up to par. So she was basically lying right to their face. And it was really rude and sarcastic too. And that's not how you teach people If you have somebody in your company that doesn't know what they're doing, you don't lie to them and tell them that they're good at what they're doing and then basically, you know, either stop using them or fire them because they don't know what they're doing. You teach them. Why is that so hard? So one day we had a really big charity event that we did, and for some reason, Belle thought it was a great idea to still book a party after that event. But of course she's not going to do it because she's the boss. She can go send other people who will get totally tired from doing 2 huge things in one day. So that's what she did. She said she was sending her best people. So she sent me and, let's say, Anna, because she was usually the Anna to my Elsa. So I was an Elsa, she was an Anna, and she said, oh, it's really close to where we're doing the charity event, so you guys don't have to drive very far, which was another lie. It ended up being over an hour away, and when we finally got there, I had to be carried to and from the party because their driveway was dirt and it was covered in ice because it was the middle of winter, and you can't walk on that in heels. So I had to be carried, which was very embarrassing, to and from the car. Now remember when I said that she told us that she was never going to send us to a bad area again? Well, of course, she lied. So this is the major turning point of when it was decided that me and a lot of others were going to quit. She said that we had a charity event that we had planned, and it was going to be at a church, and she said it was in blah 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 area, and it was for like an Easter thing. It was like the weekend before Easter, so it was kind of a charity Easter princess thing. And I didn't know it was a bad area until a few days before, and I asked my dad, like, hey, is this area an okay area? Because I kind of see that it's like really close to some bad areas in Detroit. And he told me it was a terrible area, and that got me really terrified. And one of the other girls was also scared of driving down there alone, so she drove over and we drove down together. And so we drove down there together, and as we're approaching the closer and closer we get to our destination, the worse the area gets. There is an abandoned school. There was multiple buildings that had graffiti on them and just looked like they were abandoned. Nobody owned them. Nothing was inside. And the nicest thing on that block and the area that we had to drive around in until we found the church was a McDonald's. We changed and we noticed that some people were late. Anna and her sister were late. And we're like, oh, okay, well, we'll just change, so they'll get here eventually. And Belle pretty much turned to us and said, oh, they'll probably be a little late because I sent them on an Easter Bunny party this morning at like 10 in the morning. Why is it a good idea in anybody's mind that you would have a party the same day as a major event? And if you're going to, why would you make people that are going to be at the huge event also go to the other party? An hour in a costume around kids, not having to break character with no food or water, and very unlikely that you get a pee break or anything like that, is super tiring. And this was about the 4th time that she put me in my periwinkle costume and we didn't have Tinkerbell. I don't understand how having Periwinkle at an event without her sister Tinkerbell makes sense, because every time I was Periwinkle, a million kids had questions. They had no idea who I was. I'd have to explain that my sister is busy. Besides the fact of me not being able to be my favorite princess, Rapunzel, Belle put Rapunzel on and sat at a face painting table literally the entire event painting faces. So remember, she's at this table the entire event. About halfway through the event, the Elsa was really worried, and I was too, because we noticed not the Anna that was there, we had somebody else in Anna, but Anna and her sister still hadn't shown up. So we went over to Belle's mother and said, hey, we're going to go upstairs and see if we have any missed calls or text messages from Anna and her sister because they're still not here and we're a little worried. And the mother was really sweet. She was always really sweet until somebody said one bad thing, and then she was like freaking scary as shit. And I'm sure she probably says super bad shit about me now. We go up, we check our phones, we have nothing. Tried to call them, no messages, nothing. We can't get a hold of her, either of them. So we go back downstairs, tell her what happened, and we continue with the party. And after the event is over, and we all go upstairs and change, we're all kind of like, oh, we're really sad that Anna and her sister didn't show up. And Belle, because she gets super stressed at these things, was just like, yeah, it happens, it's okay. And I guess, like, she said it in a way that I knew she was super angry about it, because they were supposed to be in Cinderella and Snow White, and those are classic princesses that everybody recognizes. So after the event, on our way home, we called Anna. We finally got a call from Anna, and she said, we were saying, hey, what's up, are you okay? You didn't come to the event. She got lost in the bad area without a GPS. Her car at the time was older and the charger port in her car was broken. Both of their phones were dying. They couldn't charge them. And Anna's sister gets car sick easily, so she ended up getting sick from all the driving, low on gas, and at one point a lovely man decided to stand in front of their car and yell at them to get out of their car. Pretty much the day after, if not just a few days after this event and all the horrible things that happened to Anna and her sister, Belle invited her out to dinner and gave her a chance to explain herself why she didn't show up. She told her everything that happened, and Belle had the audacity to look her in the face and say, you don't have to lie to me. During all this, why didn't you try to call me? I'm mad that you tried to call other people and never tried to contact me. Was never on your radar to call me. All of us already knew that getting in contact with Belle was damn near impossible. So why in the world would you try and call her if you knew you couldn't get a hold of her? Also keep in mind that Belle was in Rapunzel, painting kids' faces. Remember that? The entire event. Didn't have her phone on her because princesses don't have phones. And she also didn't give her phone to her mother that was standing nearby that could have easily answered the phone if there was an issue. No, she left her phone upstairs with all the other costumes and everybody else's phones. It wouldn't have made any difference if Anna would have tried to call Belle, because she still wouldn't have gotten to her phone. And she told her if she wasn't personally close with Anna like she was, that she would fire her. And she also said another reason that she would fire her right then and there was because she wasn't acting up to par at recent events. Meanwhile, Anna hadn't been at an event in over 2 months. And the Easter Bunny party, she was an attendant. She didn't have to act in character. Her sister was the Easter Bunny. So that allegation literally made 0 sense. So, after basically blaming Anna for all the issues that happened, instead of consulting her and saying that she's sorry and acknowledging the fact that she shouldn't book parties in bad areas, she ended up just going home. Felt like she didn't do anything wrong, of course. I got a call from Anna that night telling me what happened, and right then and there is when we decided that we're going to make our own company. And she quit that night. I was really sad, but after talking to her for 2 hours, that's when we did decide to make our company. And along with other people, they slowly left. They kind of stayed in the group in a way that, I guess you could say, spy on them to know what they're up to, as we started our own company. And I also, from all the people that I could still remember were part of the company, I added them into one long group message and I sent them a message telling them all the shit that happened so they know that who they're working for. But I really don't know if any of them actually quit after reading that message. I have no idea. I just know I wanted to warn people, because that's what you do when you are working with someone horrible who's going to send you into areas that you're not safe in. So that's pretty much the end of my story. I am also super angry because every time I see that they post something on Instagram or Facebook, they have more of a following than our tiny company that we're getting. And I'm doing everything in my power to stay cool and remember that I made this company to give everybody a fair chance, a safe area to work in, and be their dream princess for parties, as well as make a little money and wear, quality costumes. So yeah, that's the end of this story. Let me know what you think down below. I'm sure this is probably in 2 parts and I apologize. But I love you guys and I will see you guys in the next story time. Bye!